Hola, what's up everybody? If you guys are interested in any merch, discounts, or tools that I use, please go to the first link in the description. It'll take you to my website. Stay up to date, see all the platforms that I post on, and you can also check out the tool link. Once you click on it, you go here. Everything's broken down into categories, so you can easily find whatever you're looking for. Now enjoy the video. Alright, today's a little bit of a weird one, and my throat. I don't know if it's a seasonal thing. I had a raspy throat. Today's a weird one. One of my guys was checking an ice machine that was kind of doing some weird stuff, and we've already had to replace like the little curtain, the magnet, the one that's on the bottom only. When the ice falls, it hits that little flap, and there's like a magnet in there and a sensor and all that. That's how it knows that it dropped ice, and it will kick it out of harvest. So we had to replace one of those. We had a small leak on it at one point, and it's a Manitowoc. It's only been there a few years. I mean, it's not brand spanking new, but it's pretty new. The issue that he was having is that only one side was dropping ice, and it would lock out on a long harvest, and it would shut down. I kind of looked around the unit. Now, granted, this unit is the drive-through ice machine, which means it's right up against the window. It's on a counter. It's a stand-up. I think it's an Indigo Next ice machine, split, remote condensers on top of the roof. So very tight spot. If I need to replace anything on the right side, I'm screwed because that's up against the wall. So of course, if it's a long harvest, you start thinking about like charge. You start thinking about the hot gas bypass, and I think he called tech support. And that's kind of like one of the conclusions they came to, but I'm not sure how he explained it. I do believe he has a hard time explaining these things over the phone. So I came the other day, and this stupid thing was working. It wasn't making good ice. It was taking too long to harvest, but it was dropping the ice. So the bin was full of bad ice. Now I took some out to test it, but there's no way I was gonna keep doing that. And then they open, they get busy. I can't be there in the drive-thru. So the stupid thing was like half working. So I tested what I could. It seemed like I had power to my solenoid for the entirety of the harvest. And then I put my magnet on there and it worked. It dropped ice. The right side did take, an extra 10-15 seconds to drop. So that could be another issue is, normally I see when it's a two ice sheets that are dropping. Normally they're not at the same exact time, they're not simultaneously, but they should be within a second or two of each other. But what I'm afraid of is that it's not the solenoid valve. I don't want to have to recover, or I'm really rusty on ice machines. If it's able to be pumped down, I need to see. But it's 12.5 pounds of refrigerant. I would have to take that out or pump it down, whichever is possible, and then unsweat, because I don't think I have any slack, unsweat that little valve, put in a new one, make sure we're purging, and then get all that squared away. And then if it does the same thing, I like to be sure, I like to verify. So that's what we got going on today. I'm gonna double check this again because I came last week. It worked for a week. Probably making bad ice, because if it takes too long to harvest, it melts some of the ice and you get chunks instead of those nice cubes. So apparently it stopped working yesterday, and then we're gonna come out now. And at the time I was like, well, F it, I'm gonna put the valve in the next time they call, but it went down again. It's an empty bin. I will diagnose it now with an empty bin where I can run it several times over and over. So ice machines, I know some people think they're intimidating. They're not. They're like everything else. It's a refrigeration cycle. You just are freezing instead of using a fan to move air over the evaporator. You're just freezing the evaporators, because they're the nickel-plated sheets. You're just freezing the evaporator while throwing water over it. And as the water goes through enough times, it starts to ice up, triggers the ice thickness probe, whichever one they're using. There's a couple different kinds. Or they could have it set to like a water level or something. There's different ways to trigger it, but once it makes enough ice, it initiates a hot gas to where it reverses, throws hot gas into the evaporator to help push off that ice. That's how you make ice. It's super simple. Like I said, I can understand why it's intimidating because it's very different, but just slow down, take your time on it. They're time consuming because you have to run several batches, and each batch is going to be, depending on the unit, 10 to 20 minutes per batch of ice. And then harvest is like a good 3 to 7 minutes. So in that time, it's like a half hour to do all that. All right, so I got a little stumped and I tried calling Manitowoc. It's been an hour, maybe more, and I've yet to get a call back. It said like a 5-minute wait time, and then the call back was just some random person, like, what's the model, serial number, name, company name, and then explain what's wrong. And I was like, is this tech support? And they kept cutting me off. Fine, I'll explain it. Okay, somebody will call you back, and a tech, as soon as they're available, will call you back. So, all right, so then I go back to troubleshoot it again because I was calling them to make sure. I wanted a parts breakdown because I can't find one on my phone. If I get in front of a computer before they, call, I'll look it up again. But I wanted to make sure that I was seeing all the components because on the left side, there is a hot gas, a bypass valve, if I'm looking at the unit straight on. And on the right side, there's another solenoid, but I think that's just for refrigerant flow to the system because I don't see it being a bypass valve. And if I take off the coil and don't put anything on there, it goes to pump down. So to me, it's just the one hot gas valve and nothing else, because what I was getting before was over 80 psi on the low side, which is fine. That'll melt it. But then as soon as that one dropped, it went down to 60, and it looked like it was trying to cool again, like freeze again. And I was like, that's not enough to drop both sides. So that's what I was trying to call them for, and get a breakdown, make sure I'm not missing another solenoid somewhere. Because if I open that unit up, I have to move it off the wall. I have to shut down their drive-through, which I can't right now. It's about to be lunch. So I needed a parts breakdown and some part numbers and stuff so I could deal with that. And, be more confident in what I'm diagnosing. It dropped like 3 batches for me last week, and then it worked through the weekend and everything. So it's probably an intermittent issue, but it's happening a lot. So I'm waiting for them to call me back. We'll see when that happens. If I get the call back, I'll try and record. But for now, I'm gonna take a lunch because there's nothing much more I can do. That's basically the issue. It's a weird one. Honestly, it's a simple one. I'm just trying to verify through a parts breakdown, make sure I didn't miss anything, and maybe get some part numbers. But it's been over an hour. It's already lunch here. I don't know what time it is, wherever Manitowoc is, but maybe they're on lunch. So we'll see when they call back. Alright guys, I called this morning and it is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I took a lunch. I'm trying to do some paperwork, upload my podcast, upload a video as well. But let's just go ahead and call them. I fucking hate calling tech support.
PM Central Standard Time. Our technical assistance department is open from 7:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. For technical assistance, you will need model and serial number. Please press 1. For warranty questions, please have your information handy. More than 30 minutes. Instead of waiting, we can call you back to the same number when an agent becomes available. To request a callback, press 1. Otherwise, stay on the line for next available agent. Your callback has been scheduled. We will call you at the same number from which you just called us.
Did it say 30 minutes? Let me call back this other number I had.
NFL Face's hours of operation are 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our technical assistance department is open from 7:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. For technical assistance, you will need model and serial number. Please press 1.
Alright, never mind. I have a couple of numbers from them, but I guess they all go to the same answering machine. Earlier it was 5 minutes. I got a call back just to get my info, and then they said they're gonna call me as soon as possible, and it's been hours, and I swear I heard 30 minutes, so we'll see, what happens. Hello?
Oh, hi, Carlos. It's Kim calling. I see. I just noticed you're waiting on a callback with one of our techs here. I'm with the tech support call center. Erica did have your info, and I'll make sure you get a follow-up. Our guys are trying to keep up, and they're having a tough time. But I'll make sure you get a callback, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, because I called this morning, and I was just wondering what had happened.
Oh. Yeah, no, it looks like it's still open, but I'll let them know you're waiting on this call, okay?
All right.
Okay, I apologize here. We have you in, so I'll just let them know you're still waiting here, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Hi, this is Manitowoc guys returning your call.
Hello. Yeah, I had an issue with an ice maker. Do you have the information that I gave earlier?
I do.
Okay, so I'm just having an issue with harvest. Only the left side is dropping, and as soon as that one drops, it looks like I lose voltage to the hot gas bypass valve, and the right side won't drop.
Do you lose voltage to the right side valve or just to the left side?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Is there one or two valves on this?
There's a valve for the left evaporator and a valve for the right evaporator.
Is there... Okay, so in total, how many solenoids do I have?
3.
3?
You've got a liquid line solenoid valve that works as a pump down. You got a harvest valve for the right evaporator and a harvest valve for the left evaporator.
Okay, it's because this thing is up against a wall in a drive-through area, so I need to pull it out and disassemble it because it's basically to the ceiling.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I can get a parts breakdown or something because I don't know where that valve would be. Is it in the back or on top?
They're behind the one for the left evaporator is behind the left panel. The liquid line valve and the harvest valve for the right side is behind the right panel.
Oh, so
near the receiver.
Yeah, if I remove the right side, then I can get to the other one.
Yeah, what you want to check is when the left side drops, do you lose power to the right side valve?
Okay.
If you do, that just tells me your current switches are swapped. Because they're independent relays. You got a relay to the left valve and the right valve. And what we're looking for is as each side drops the damper flaps, that's when we de-energize that valve. If somebody was messing with the wires for the curtain switches and had them swapped,
yeah,
it
because
could just be as a wire cross situation.
Okay, I need to try that. That crossed my mind earlier because they did have an issue with one of them being warped or something, and it wasn't like closing the contact, like the sensor for that right side curtain, so it got replaced. So you're saying if they get crossed, you can have that issue, right?
Yeah, because if I had the right curtain switch plugged into the wire for the left one and the left one to the right one. When the left side drops, like in your situation, hey, left side drops, I've got my wires swapped. Now I'm going to de-energize the valve on the right side, and I'm going to stop sending hot gas.
Okay, it's because the only thing like that I checked was pressure, obviously. So if I hook up, it goes up to like, you know, over 80 psi on the low side for the harvest, and then as soon as that left side drops, you know, and it de-energizes, I guess, that left side solenoid, my pressure goes from over 80 to basically 60 and keeps dropping.
Okay. Yeah, if you do have voltage to that right valve, at that point, that tells me the right valve is underfeeding mechanically.
Underfeeding, okay.
Yeah, it would be a valve problem. And with that, whether the machine is 8 days old or 80 years old, I always tell guys, hey, replace both valves.
Both, okay.
Yeah, you never replace just one. So the only thing you want to verify is, hey, do I keep power to that valve? Yes, I do. And then my suction falls off a cliff like that, that's a restricted harvest valve all day.
All right, gotcha.
You replace it on both because when one's underfeeding, the other one overfeeds.
Gotcha, because like what I did quickly, just because, you know, I had to get out of there because they got busy. I threw my magnet, because I didn't know how many solenoids there were. I threw my magnet on the left side, the one that was working, I guess. And if I did that, both sides dropped, which I thought was weird. But I need to check that right side one then. Yeah, and overall, Carlos, it sounds like that you do have power to that valve. I've only seen that the issue I was talking about a couple of times, and it's usually because someone got their hands in there and didn't know what they were doing. Okay. This sounds like a restriction in the harvest valve. Yeah. You do want to verify just so that way, hey, your ducks are in a row, but it does sound like the right valve is not feeding properly. Yeah, and that's the hard one to get to. So I'll have to pull that machine out because I have access to that left one all day, but that right one's against the wall. Yeah, when you do have access to the right one, keep in mind you've got 2 refrigeration solenoids on that side. Yeah, I saw the wire coming out of it. Yeah, I saw the one at the bottom. I'm pretty sure that's just the liquid line, but I need to double check. It's because I couldn't see a third one, so I just wanted to make sure. Gotcha. Okay. I think that helps me, and then I'll go ahead and look for that valve now. Sounds perfect there, Carlos. Sorry about the wait today, man. All right, no problem. Thank you. All right, so sometimes we got to talk to, you know, tech support. So I just needed him to kind of, or to visualize what I can't see. I needed him to describe what components I'm looking for, where they're at. He told me go ahead and take off the right panel, which is the only side I do not have access to. So if I remember correctly, that solenoid might be on the right, but on the top. Nope. So if I can remove the top, even though I have this much clearance on the ceiling, we can remove the ceiling tiles and maybe get through it that way. And I can throw a magnet on there and see if that helps any. If it really is the valve, we'd have to check the voltage going to the coil. And then with the magnet, I can verify if it's like sticking or if it's not helping my pressure. Because if it works with my magnet, then it's just the coil. But if it doesn't, we can't open it or we don't get any pressure out of it, then it's the valve itself. I don't remember everything. I could not remember. This is a dual evaporator, so it's going to have, or they're going to be independent circuits. They're going to have one hot gas bypass for each system, and obviously a TXV for each side and all that. So thankfully he called me back. The only bad thing is now it's 4:30, so we got to go back and put that in, or not put that in, test it. I do have the valve on me because we picked it up just in case. Yeah, like I said, I don't know everything. I can't retain everything. I don't remember everything. For the most part, and I haven't worked on ice machines in a long time, but for the most part, I would work on, when I started, a lot of Scotsman, a lot of Hoshizaki, and even Follett, a lot of Follett. I got really comfortable with Follett. And Manitowoc, I do see a lot, but they don't tend to have too many issues with the components. It's usually a water-related issue, which for the most part, that's all ice machines. Yeah, just my luck. The left side's working perfectly. That's the one that I had tested because that's the only one I could. And then I had pretty good access to the liquid line solenoid, but that it's that third one, the one that is not working, that I just can't get to. So I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to move it somehow. Like I said, if we can go through the ceiling tiles, that might be the best bet. Just put a big ladder up to it and then see if I can hover over the top. And if we have to replace the whole valve, that's going to be very fun. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think we technically fixed the problem. I'm more than sure those valves are going bad, at least the one that we're working on. That one might be sticking. I did put my solenoid magnet on there, and I like to kind of test it myself. I was getting good pressure with it, and then I kind of just throw it on and off a few times to hear how it clicks, how the gas comes through and all that. So I could have unstuck it for the meantime. Dude, what the hell? I recorded a whole little outro there to finish this video, and I did not hit record. Man, I hardly get sick, but when I do, it messes with my brain. So, like I said, I don't think we fixed the problem. I think we just bought them some time, because that's going to be a pain in the ass to take out. What we're going to have to quote for is to recover the refrigerant. It's 12.5 pounds. And make sure we weigh it and make sure that we have that, because like I said, it had a leak not too long ago, because they had to put the stupid valve in the worst position. It is on that side of the unit, up against the wall nonetheless, but that's, you know, the customer's issue. That's how they wanted it. But to get access to it, I can't even remove the back, because that side has all the lines brazed in right there, has all the electrical is all there too, all that, and then the valve is right there at the bottom. Like what the hell? All the ones I've worked on, they've mostly been single evaporators where you can kind of see the whole plate and there's a curtain there in front. And on those, like, I'm not too good with names. This one is an Indigo Next. On those, the solenoid valves are usually at the top going across the unit, where I can actually replace them pretty easily. I've replaced them before. They do tend to stick. It doesn't happen super often, but it's happened to me. But that's a model, that's a different model that I've worked on. This one has the two plates, and it's a dual evaporator. I don't usually have issues with them. It's a dual evaporator, side by side, and apparently they hide the solenoid. Or there's one super easy to work on that I could have replaced no issue on the other side by itself, but no, it had to be the one that was hidden and that I can't get to. So they hide the other two, thinking you'll never need to replace them or something, and now we have an issue with it. I guess they have a tendency to stick. That unit is not even that old. I have other calls, but I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I got a walk-in to do first thing in the morning, and then I'm gonna come back, because we had several people looking at it. We kind of got mixed up. There's miscommunication on our part, because we were all looking at different solenoid valves.